The island nation of Haiti, most recently in the headlines for a massive 7.0 earthquake that devastated its infrastructure in 2010, is now suffering from a severe cholera outbreak that is taking an increasingly large toll on its population. Cholera, a disease that attacks the digestive tract, is spread primarily through water contaminated with feces. Before the earthquake, there was already a substantial fraction of the Haitian population that did not have access to adequate sanitation and clean water, and the effects of the earthquake have only amplified this problem. As a result, there have been many deaths from the disease and a large amount of infections. Normally, death as a result of cholera is very rare because the disease is easily treated. However, since Haiti is still recovering from the earthquake, there's a substantial lack of quick and reliable medical care available to inhabitants of the island. On top of that, the surplus of people currently on the island to provide help only puts the population at higher risk for more infections from different diseases that are foreign to Haiti. If we want Haiti to make a full recovery in the future, we must develop a functional and effective way to give the islanders access to clean water and proper medical care.
For any solutions to these water issues, there are several considerations that must be made. First, there is cost. Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. 80% of the population lives below the poverty line and exists on less than $2 per day, and 54% of the total population lives in abject poverty, living on less than $1 per day. There needs to be a solution that is affordable and sustainably affordable for these people. There is also the consideration of the living conditions and the size of the need of the people. There will be no need for fancy installations. Portability is better, and there needs to be some way to scale the size of the treatment to fit the need. One set of solutions in particular appear to be the most practical in this situation. These are the point-of-use water treatment systems, including filtration and chemical treatment devices. The bacteria responsible for cholera has been associated with larger life forms and bodies in the water, such as plankton and particulate matter. Simple cloth filtration using old pieces of cloth has been used in Bangladesh, in South Asia, and the region where the strain of the bacteria infecting Haiti has been traced. The simple use of old pieces of cloth, folded 4 times, to filter water taken directly from streams and rivers for drinking water, has cut the number of cholera cases in these regions in half. This simple, inexpensive, available, and effective solution has worked well and has not shown any significantly better results than any more expensive pre-made 150-micron nylon filter could provide. For chemical treatment, one particular solution is gaining momentum in Haiti. Gardien de l'eau, Haitian Creole for Water Guardian, is a locally produced chlorine solution that is designed to treat water at the site of the consumer. It is designed to be locally manufactured and distributed so as to respond better to the people and to create jobs in Haiti. The system involves 1 5-gallon bucket, a nozzle, and a bottle of chlorine solution. 1 8-ounce bottle of the chlorine solution costs 25 cents, and 1 capful is enough to treat an entire 5-gallon bucket of water. After the solution in the water sits for 30 minutes, the water is cleaned, and the residual effects may help to keep the water clean in the future. 1 bottle of this chlorine solution is enough to provide an entire family of 5 with drinking water for 40 days.
The technology required for this problem would have to be able to evolve and change with the cholera bacteria. Since the strain of bacteria is constantly evolving on its own, it will adapt to its changing environment, and the same technique that works today will not work 5 years down the line. So we need to decontaminate the water in the quickest and most efficient way possible before the bacterial species evolves. To do this, an engineer working on this problem would need to possess a great amount of knowledge on the behavior and evolution of infectious strains of bacteria and how to suitably remove the bacteria from a water source. Also, some business skills would be necessary since minimizing the cost is so important. These skills can be gained through extensive work with bacteria and their interaction with chemicals, such as work in a biological lab or through in-depth research in a biological study. Also, experience in aiding impoverished communities around the world would be helpful, such as volunteer work or working for the Peace Corps in another country.
In addition to addressing water sanitation and working to improve the ways in which water is treated, engineers working to address the cholera epidemic in Haiti should also monitor the disease's spread in order to help prevent further cases from developing. This should maybe be done through rapid result pathogen monitoring, perhaps with microfluidic devices, something that can be easily transported and may deliver results quickly and at the site of the water so that no time-consuming outside lab work is needed for the general warning of contamination to be delivered.
For the most part, fighting the cholera outbreak in Haiti does not present much ethical concern for engineers. Since the primary aspect of this problem is simply bringing clean water to those who don't have access to it already, there's little possibility of an engineer crossing an ethical boundary. However, one possible problem is what effects the decontamination techniques will have on the water. They might get rid of the bacteria, but the chemicals left over in the water could be even more harmful. Therefore, it's the primary responsibility of engineers to make sure that whatever technology is implemented is safe to use.
Overall, the combination of such water treatment options as cloth filtration and chlorination can help to prevent further illness and to provide clean drinking water for the hydration of those affected in the epidemic. Challenges to keep in mind as the technology moves into the future include keeping costs Haitian-friendly in the long run. When aid diminishes, water treatment systems, whether these are chlorination or filtration systems, should still be sustainably available to the people without overly burdening the public or the manufacturers. Worldwide, 88% of deaths related to diarrhea are linked to contaminated drinking water or improper sanitation. Cholera is just the newest and perhaps the most vicious to affect Haiti. If prices can stay low, these point-of-water use solutions may be adopted into other communities elsewhere where cholera and other water contamination and related illnesses are regular problems. There may also be concerns with getting people to freely chlorinate their drinking water. Chlorine-containing substances like bleach can be very caustic. People may be unwilling to pour chemicals into their drinking water, fearing what it might do. Diluted at the World Health Organization recommended levels of 5 milligrams of free chlorine per liter of drinking water, there have been no chlorine-linked health issues in clinical studies involving both human and rodent subjects. But these are levels at which the chlorine can be tasted, and if people can taste a difference in their water, they may be reluctant to treat it.